Good morning and welcome to Fish of the Day presented by Doc's Daily Derbies.
All right, here we are for the freshwater fish of the day, one of my favorites, the Arctic grayling. I held this fish on the Real VR Fishing #1 board since about the second week of the launch of US West and just lost it a couple months ago, so a little disheartened about that. I'm going to be fishing this on bottom with the grasshopper, casting at the bubbles, and I'm looking for a fish that has an instant bite but does not take line when I hook it. There are a couple distractor fish you're going to have to deal with, but if it takes line, go ahead and break that fish off and keep at it. Already on expert, I will go ahead and pop the firework to speed up our process here. There were two sets of bubbles right there, which makes me maybe want to. It's hard to. There we go. I got this one on the left. So the one on the left was not an instant bite. Not lucky with that. Way short. Not sure if that was an instant bite, and it's taken off a long time to play with it. A little bit of a delay there on that one. Let's go back and make sure I was far enough back on those bubbles. Or maybe this is our fish, and it won't matter. Very pretty level. You know, has a shot. And there we go. Oh, for some reason, I'm in centimeters and just noticed that, but it's not a personal best. So off to the freshwater fish or saltwater fish of the day, which is going to be the Japanese bullhead. So I'm just going to reuse the last video I had for the Japanese bullhead for fish of the day, which when I introduce, I do say freshwater fish of the day. So it is just, that error is just stuck in my head. All right, and we're back for our freshwater fish, the Japanese bullhead shark. Quick story about this. This was the very last fish in the game I had to catch, and this is back before we had the baits and the lures that had preferences. So you pretty much threw your line out there and had to wait. And this fish did not show up very often at all. And it still does not show up a lot. And I finally made up my mind I was not going to stop fishing my session until I caught the fish, and that session ended up taking me about 9 hours before one showed up on the board. And I remember about an hour or two into the game, I had two players, well-known players back then, join my room, and we were talking. I told them what I was going after, and they both caught one within about 15 to 20 minutes of entering the room, and I was just beside myself. And then it ended up taking me about 9 hours that session. But since this does not show up that much, I would recommend using a firework if you've got them, and it is just going to be shiner on bottom. There are a lot of other fish that are going to take it, so you can quick release them and let them jump. Some of them will be pretty easy to identify. The Japanese bullhead will look pretty small. So it's going to be an instant bite on bottom with the shiner, casting up bubbles. And I used a firework, so hopefully this does not take a ton of time. Again, this fish does not show up a lot. It will take line when you hook it. So if you do, there are some bottom fish that will not, and it's about that's our bullhead. So it's a pretty identifiable when it jumps up. It does come up and out of the water, and it's got a pretty good vertical jump. Almost the whole body comes out. Now I can't tell if it has moved up here, if this is it. Oh, there was another set of bubbles back there a little further. Now my bubbles are gone, so I'm kind of blind casting. It was right about out in here, but this is definitely our fish. There we go. So super easy to identify. So I would definitely do a quick release on any fish that runs, and you will know when you got the bullhead if you are able to identify the other fish that you might catch. It really looks different than any other fish when you quick release it. It does come up and out of the water almost all the way, which I didn't think it did, but almost the whole body comes out when you release it. And there's our Japanese bullhead. So best of luck and happy hunting to everybody, and also everybody have a great day. Take care.